Welcome to Capybara English Listening. Thank you for being here and learning with us. If you understand English but can't speak fluently, you're not alone. Many learners study for years but freeze when they try to talk. Why does this happen? And more importantly, how can you fix it? In this video, we'll break down the biggest mistakes that stop you from speaking and give you simple, practical solutions to start speaking with confidence. Stay until the end for real life success stories of people who finally overcame their fears and started speaking fluently. Let's get started. 1. You understand English, but your brain is not trained to speak. Many learners can understand English. They watch movies, listen to music, and read books. But when they try to speak, they stop. Their mind is empty, they feel nervous, words don't come out. Why does this happen? Because they only train their brain to understand English but not to produce it. Imagine a baby learning to speak. Babies don't start by reading books or studying grammar. They listen and try to repeat words. They make mistakes, but they practice speaking every day. The same is true for you. If you only listen and read but never speak, your mouth does not know how to form English sentences. Your brain understands, but your muscles don't work fast enough. Solution: speak every day, even if it's just to yourself. Repeat sentences from books and videos. Describe what you see around you in English. Try shadowing. Listen to a native speaker and repeat after them without reading. Don't wait until you feel ready. Start with simple words and short sentences. The more you speak, the more natural it becomes. If you train your mouth and brain together, English will become easier. 2. You are afraid of making mistakes. Many learners don't speak English because they are afraid. They think, what if I say something wrong? They worry that people will laugh at them. This fear stops them from speaking. But mistakes are part of learning. Even native speakers make mistakes. Think about a child learning to walk. The child falls many times but keeps trying. If they stop because they are afraid of falling, they will never learn to walk. The same is true for speaking English. If you don't speak because of fear, you will never improve. Many people wait for the perfect moment when their English is better, but that moment never comes. The only way to improve is to speak, even with mistakes. Solution: change your thinking about mistakes. Mistakes are good. They help you learn. Nobody will laugh at you. People respect those who try. Start small. Speak to yourself, record your voice, or talk to a language partner. Use simple sentences. Don't try to speak perfectly, just communicate. The more you speak, the less fear you will have. Confidence comes from practice, not from perfection. 3. You translate in your head before speaking. Many learners think in their native language first. Then they translate into English. This makes speaking slow and difficult. When you translate, your sentences may sound unnatural. The order of words is different in every language. If you translate every word, you might say things that don't make sense in English. For example, in some languages, people say, "The apple red is on the table." But in English, we say, "The red apple is on the table." If you translate word by word, you will make mistakes like this. Solution: train your brain to think directly in English. Learn words with pictures, not translations. When you see a wast, don't think of a word in your native language, just think of apple. Use English dictionaries to understand words instead of translating. Practice simple thinking exercises. Describe your day in English in your mind. The less you translate, the faster you will speak. You focus too much on grammar. Many learners think they need perfect grammar before they start speaking. They try to remember every grammar rule. Before they say a sentence, they think, is this correct? This makes speaking slow and stressful. Grammar is important, but it should not stop you from speaking. Native speakers don't think about grammar rules when they talk. They focus on communication. If you only think about grammar, you will feel nervous and hesitate. Solution: use grammar as a tool, not a barrier. Speak first, fix grammar later. Use simple sentences. It's better to say, I go store yesterday than to say nothing. Listen to how native speakers talk. You will learn grammar naturally. I don't stop speaking just because you don't know a rule. Keep talking. Fluency comes from practice, not from perfect grammar. 5. You don't have enough listening practice. Many people read English and study grammar, but they don't listen enough. This is a big problem. If you don't train your ears, you won't understand native speakers. Native speakers talk fast. They don't pronounce every word clearly. They use contractions and connected speech. For example, they don't say, "What are you doing?" They say, "What you doing?" If you only study textbook English, you won't understand real conversations. Solution: listen to English every day. Use podcasts, audiobooks, and YouTube videos with slow speech. Watch movies with English subtitles. First with subtitles, then without. Repeat sentences after native speakers to train your ears. Listen to different accents, British, American, Australian, so you can understand everyone. The more you listen, the easier it is to speak. 6. You don't use new words in real life. Some learners study vocabulary lists. They write words in notebooks. But when they need to speak, they forget everything. Why? Because they never use the words. Your brain only remembers words that it thinks are important. If you don't use a word, your brain deletes it. This is why memorizing words is not enough. You need to use them in real conversations. Solution: make words part of your daily life. Use new words in sentences, messages, and conversations. Describe things around you using new words. Write a short daily journal using new words. Play word games or use flashcards with example sentences. If you use a word 5 times in different situations, you will remember it forever. 7. You compare yourself to others and lose confidence. Many learners feel bad because someone else speaks better. They say, I will never be as good as them. This is a dangerous way of thinking. Everyone learns at a different speed. Some people study English for many years. Some live in English-speaking countries. You can't compare yourself to them. Comparing yourself to others makes you feel frustrated. When you feel bad, you stop practicing. And when you stop practicing, you stop improving. Solution: focus on your own progress. Compare yourself to your past self, not to others. Keep a learning journal. Write what new words and phrases you learn each week. Record yourself speaking. After a few months, listen again and see how much you improved. Remember, small progress is still progress. Conclusion: you can understand English, but you must train yourself to speak. Comment below which problem stops you from speaking. Like and subscribe to Capybara English. Listening for more easy learning tips. Real life stories. How people overcame their speaking problems. Many learners struggle with speaking English, but some people find the courage to speak, even with mistakes. Here are three real life stories of learners who used the right strategies and finally started speaking English confidently. 1 Lucas, from silent learner to confident speaker. Lucas had been studying English for 5 years. He knew a lot of words and could understand simple books and movies. But when he tried to speak, he froze. His brain was full of thoughts in his native language. He translated sentences in his head, but by the time he finished, the conversation had moved on. What changed? One day, Lucas decided to stop translating. Instead of thinking in his native language, he started using the no translation method. When he saw an object, he tried to name it in English without thinking of the word in his first language. For example, when he saw a cyan, he thought apple instead of translating it. His strategy, he described everything around him in English. He started thinking in simple English phrases like, now I go to work, instead of translating a complex sentence. He used shadowing. He listened to native speakers and repeated their sentences. After 3 months, Lucas noticed a big difference. He didn't freeze in conversations anymore. He still made mistakes, but he could speak much faster. 2. Aisha stopped being afraid of mistakes and finally spoke. Aisha loved English but never spoke it. She was afraid people would laugh at her mistakes. Every time she tried, she felt nervous and embarrassed. She spent years learning grammar, but in real conversations, she stayed silent. What changed? Aisha decided to change her mindset. She told herself, mistakes are normal. The only way to get better is to speak. She started speaking for 5 minutes every day, even when she was alone. Her strategy: she recorded herself speaking and listened back to her voice. She practiced with a language partner online and told them, correct my mistakes, but don't stop me from speaking. She focused on communication, not grammar. She used simple sentences instead of trying to be perfect. After 4 months, Aisha felt much more confident. She could have small conversations without fear. She still made mistakes, but she no longer cared. 3. Martin used daily English and became fluent without living abroad. Martin always wanted to learn English, but he thought, I don't live in an English-speaking country, so I will never be fluent. He studied English in school, but outside of class, he never used it. What changed? One day, Martin read about creating an English environment. He decided to make English part of his daily life. His strategy? He changed his phone language to English. He watched YouTube videos only in English, even simple ones. He wrote his daily to-do list in English and read short articles every morning. He listened to English podcasts while commuting to work. At first it felt strange, but after 6 months he noticed that English became natural for him. His listening improved, and when he needed to speak, words came faster. Final thoughts. Lucas, Aisha, and Martin all had different struggles, but they found simple solutions. Stop translating and start thinking in English. Accept mistakes and speak anyway. Make English part of your life, not just a subject to study. Which story sounds like you? What stops you from speaking English? Let's discuss in the comments. 1 year from now, you will wish you started today. Don't wait. Speak English now.